Good morning and welcome back to Woodyard Woods. Hey, today we got an exciting episode here. First, we're getting to some more of this ash, get that split up for bundles. But I have a special guest coming. You might remember AJ from Shaver Equipment. He contacted me the other day and he's bringing something out here to try out with my tractor. I think you guys are going to like this, so stick around. We got lovely Lisa coming to split.
Well, when I woke up, she was looking at me. She told me I've been cheating on her in her dream. Lord, it wasn't a thing I could do or say to change her mind any way. She told me that things was gonna change. If I wanted her, I couldn't stay the same. So I stopped going out on Friday nights. I stopped drinking with the boys. Yeah, everything she asked I left in the past, just to try to bring her joy. For the record, it can't be understated, all I've been domesticated. She told me to top off her Jeep, the one I bought her when I sold my old GT. And I bumped in to my good friend, and he asked me where the hell had I been. So I told him what she told me. If I didn't change, she was gonna leave. So I stopped going down on Friday nights. I stopped drinking with the boys. Everything she asked I left in the past, just to try to bring her joy. For the record, it can't be understated, I'm domesticated. But when I got home, she sat me down, said she wasn't happy and she wanted out. Everything about the man she once loved, long gone, baby, and it's all because I stopped going out on Friday nights. I stopped drinking with the boys. Everything she asked I left in the past, just to try to bring her joy. For the record, it can't be understated, Lord, I've been domesticated. Lord, I've been domesticated. All I do is stay at home all day.
We're gonna have a little fun with Lisa. I don't think she thinks I'm funny. I hadn't done it in a while, but I touched the ground. So I came over to put a new chain on. I was gonna touch this up, but it's been a while since I changed it. And you lose the hearing protection here. Probably yelling in your ear since I had that hearing protection on. Talking like you can't hear me. I sharpened this chain twice on the saw, so I think I'm just gonna change it. And you can see, gets a lot of gunk in there. I like to get in there with my screwdriver, clean that out. You know, probably due to be blown out with the air hose, but since I just am down in here, I'll just do it this way. I got a message from AJ from Shaver Equipment. He will be here today, so I'm looking forward to that. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun checking out this new piece of equipment he has. With the chain locker, I did these by color, and I also marked them, as you can see, so that I always know which chain goes to which saw. I actually saw someone recently, I can't remember who it was, but they had switched the 550 over to a 3/8 chain. I'm actually considering doing that, so it's running the same chains as my 372. I'm gonna have to find those videos again and see how they like. I think it was old guy Firewood, if I remember correctly. Dick down there, I think, was the one who did it. So I'm gonna check that video out again, maybe even give Dick a message and ask him, you know, how he likes it. So as I told you, AJ from Shaver Equipment was going to stop by, and he brought something to try out in my Woodyard. So I'm going to turn it over to you, AJ. I'm going to let you talk about this thing. I'll get behind the camera. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll mic you up there.
Very good, sir. But yeah, no, it was such a far commute to get over here, you know? I mean, good grief, what was it, like 4 miles? You know, it's something when you've got two firewood guys, you know, right in the same neighborhood. As I was saying, you know, we were doing our own video coming over in the truck too, so we'll kind of merge up the two videos here between the channels and see if we can make something happen. So this is kind of like coming over to a friend's house, so like not spend the night, but just come over and play anyway, you know, his Tonka toys, my Tonka toys, and, you know, we'll make it all work. So the trailer that I have behind me, we featured over on our channel. This is a Camex CX9T. We work on like an ATV trailer, but there is no way an ATV is going to pull this trailer around. It weighs about 2,000 pounds empty, and just over my head, if you can see it there, it says PID 11, and that means it's 11 feet worth of reach from the center of the rotator here at the turn tubes to the center of the grapple on the far end. And so this grapple is actually spec'd to pick up 2,000 pounds. All right, so the quick run around on this, it does have a 2-inch ball up in the front for putting on either your drawbar. This is actually a sold trailer now. We have a guy in Ohio that's coming to get this probably tomorrow, so this is the last little walk around video you'll probably see with me on it before Pete gets it, and hopefully he can get us some video too once he takes it back. He's going to be running with either a tractor like Darren's or an off-road Jeep that they're going to run up through the woods with. Like I said, this weighs in somewhere around 2,000 pounds. The loader itself is most of that weight. The trailer doesn't weigh an awful lot, but everything starts here. If you're used to running like an excavator or a backhoe, this actually runs on what's called the optional or the backhoe kind of package for how the boom works. Like your main boom up and down is here. The secondary stick is on the right lever. If you're used to running cat controls, it's basically like this. So it's something that we can change the plumbing on if you're a cat guy versus a deer guy. I go back and forth so much that as long as the controls are in front of me with the boom ahead of me, something in my brain switches and we go from there. This unit is upgraded because, like I said, he's going to be hauling this with either like a pickup truck, a Jeep, or a tractor. So we actually put double turn tubes on this. If you ever see a single turn tube, it's 270 rotation. The second tube gives us that full 360. Now, it's not like an excavator where it just keeps spinning, you know, 360 around. This will actually go to about here and stop, and then you can go back the other direction, come around and stop. So this has the same turn tubes as like our big trailers for loading pickup trucks and that type of thing. We did separate the outriggers and the main boom. Usually on these, this mounts up on top of here, just like our big splitter, Splitzilla back at the wood lot with the grapple on it. That's why we've kind of separated. Otherwise, you'd have all of this up on top, and it really takes your center of gravity a lot higher. So when you're going through the woods, all of that weight's another, what, 3 feet up in the air. And so this kind of helps keep it low, and you can kind of crawl around a little bit better. Just like the big trailers, we have our in-tank sight gauge, the oil fill, the return oil filter, or on the return line, I should say. This one we did the upgraded Honda. It's about a 9 horsepower Honda motor. It's a GX, what is that, 240? It is an electric start because, you know, again, you're paying $24,000 for a trailer like this. And again, we do have a lot of upgrades on this. The smaller trailers are in that $16,000 to $18,000 range. And yes, It is still pretty pricey for something that's this compact, but it's a little trailer that's designed to do big things. And you know, that $24,000 also accounts for the big hydraulic winch on top, and we have a remote control that just runs the winch. So you can actually hold the button, walk it all the way out into the woods, clip it onto something, and then walk back with it, versus doing the whole back and forth thing up here at the trailer operations station. And I think this by itself was like $2,400. Yeah, a little bit of an ouch, but I think when you're in the bush dealing with it, I have a guy in Alaska, and if he didn't have the hydraulic winch, he would be lost. So Jared, that plug's for you. But everything else pretty much is just like the big loaders. This is just like the mini-me version. All your normal grease points through the turn house, the big pins, the cylinders, and then it's the same style grapple out on the end, but it just happens to be a 32-inch versus a 34-inch. And just like the big ones, the hoses do come apart up here at the hose wrapping, because if anything gets damaged, usually it's down here, so that way you're not pulling 11 feet worth of hose out of the boom. You can just disconnect here quick and easy. Like I was saying in the intro, these pipes are both removable, and they're also pivoted, so they're like a self-leveling, so if you hit them, they'll kind of come back around to where it needs to be. There's nothing easier than, you know, throwing the grapple there on the back end, just clipping it nice and low. Not that you'll be tickling street lights with this one, but you get the idea. We do have the hoses here are on kind of a pivot, and so just to keep things from walking loose, that was something we had the trailer guys put on about a year ago, just to make sure everything stays nice and snug. Just quick releases here on the hydraulic hoses coming out of the bottom of the rotator for the grapple. Just in case you want to take this off, we do like a big brush grapple or a set of clams. If you wanted to go with a different head unit, everything pulls out just like the big ones. And I believe that's actually the same rotator that goes on all of the trailers, so this is kind of designed even for handling that 4,000 pounds that comes out of that 21-foot reach grapple. So there's a lot of trickle-down technology and build quality in the smaller scale trailer, but it all holds similar parts, so if anything does go wrong, you know, I've got these on the shelf and some other components that they're around and easy to go with. The overall chassis, it's all tube steel, and then when you get back here to the actual axle itself, it's a centered axle, so as you traverse through the woods, there's nothing that connects the left side to the right side, so it can actually crawl and articulate up and over logs and keeps everything nice and level as you're going down the trail.
Yeah,
so
that's a good design for in the woods.
But yeah, just they're a little heavier ply bear claw tire that we put on these. Just again, it's carrying some serious weight. I think we put about 45 pounds in these just to make sure they don't really squat out. And outside of that, I see enough logs are laying around here, Darren. I think we should get picking something up, because I think we're on the countdown here with the sunset.
I think we are too.
Yep, so we'll get this fired up, put our outriggers down. Again, you're just always trying to grab it balanced you know, so when you grab it, it's not all over the place when you go to pick it up. You don't have to have it fully in the grapple. You can give it a good pinch, but because we're kind of loading over somebody else's trailer, I'm going to make sure it's in the grapple, because the last thing I want to do is drop it and damage it. We're fairly flat where we are in here, but like if you were in the woods, I'd always try to load the heavier end, like the butt end, up here at the head wall, just that way you're keeping a good hitch weight. Because the last thing you want to do when you're off-roading is take away the hitch weight and get the back end of the truck up in the air, the tractor up in the air. So what, this is 10-inch, 11-inch, you think?
I'd say 10 to...
And that's 2 of them.
And
We're
12 and a half foot long.
12 and a half foot long. So, I mean, that's pretty...
I gotta say you're probably 1,800 pounds.
It's somewhere in that. I mean, it's just starting to get a little tippy. But I mean, I still have full control. And you can see how big the butt end is there.
I'll put my hand on here just to show.
And for people with the other camera here, I mean, there's my hat. I'm gonna have to ask Darren what horsepower his tractor is. I want to say it's somewhere in that 30 kind of range, but that's a nice load of logs right there. Get things up here to where he's used to processing. How many horsepower is that, Darren?
I think it's 31 point something.
Yeah, that's what the 32 is on the back end. Yeah. See, it's set up for the tractor, so if you wanted to move that station to like your back seat, you would never have to leave the tractor seat.
Right.
Yeah, you can send it this way and grab her down. Yeah, bring it back towards you a little bit. So it'd be up and back.
Up and back.
Yep.
I am not used to this at all.
It's kind of like monkey meets football. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's about right. That's gotta be.
Just picture it with the backhoe on it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Squeeze it down.
That's torque, you know?
Yep. Give it a good squeeze. You'll hear the engine. Yep, you're good. We always run these somewhere. You're fine. It'll go. Just pick it. Keep going up.
Keep going up?
Yep. Yeah, you have all that ballast in there. You're fine. Then just swing it around to be the.
I was actually gonna sit right here.
Oh, you're going this side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you can rotate. That's going to be on your right hand.
Look at that.
It's like cheating, isn't it?
It is. That's great.
Probably right about where that pole was at, unfortunately, is going to be the middle point.
Pretty close there.
Yep. All we can do is try. Squeeze it and find out. Close enough for government work.
Whoa.
Yeah, and this is only.
quick.
Oh, she's quick, but it's running at like half throttle. Even wide open, these only run like 6 to 9 gallons a minute. And then, but the part that makes these really nice is the 3,000 PSI. That's where you get like your lifting force, just like on a splitter. The higher the pressure, the more tonnage you get out of it. Or that same tonnage is in that cylinder as it's opening and closing.
Which way it is, I'm going to get off.
It's getting a little light underfoot, but understand there's nothing on the deck right now.
Right.
You're complete. All your ballast is gone.
Yep.
And that's still a decent, 10-inch on one end, maybe 11 on the other, and you're at the full 11 feet worth of reach. So what do you think now that you unloaded your first load of logs?
Well, it would take some getting used to. Like any other piece of equipment, you have to learn a little bit of the feel of it. It wouldn't take long, though, because it does operate just like my backhoe, at least in terms of the arm.
Yeah.
The rotating of the grapple is a little bit weird to me. I don't know if I had it backwards in my head or whatever, but I think even as I got towards the end of it, I noticed I was getting smoother with it.
Yeah.
So it's more powerful than I anticipated.
Yeah, and we're only running the engine at half throttle. There's no reason to make these things scream and really just make them go crazy. It's literally that's 6 to about 9 gallons a minute, but it's the PSI like we were talking about when you were loading stuff. Just like when you're with the wood splitter and you're trying to split and you're going through things like all the brute force stuff that we run is based around that 3,000 PSI mark. Well, that PSI is your splitting tonnage. That's what sends that chrome part of the cylinder out. Well, guess what? This is a cylinder. There's your chrome part. So as you're pushing out, it's lifting up. So we're taking that pressure and transforming that into lifting capacity. And, like when we're doing the last walk around here, we've got a pressure gauge just to the left-hand side of the controls. So if you're picking up something and it doesn't want to pick it up and that gauge is tacked out at 3,000 PSI, you're at limit. You're there. Put her down. Bring it closer and do something. Grab a half, use the winch, do a combination of something. But yeah, I mean, for the trailer weighing what it does, even like the last couple of logs that he was spinning out there, they were a good, 10, 11 inches on either end by about 12 and a half feet long. Because what do you bring them in the dump trailer?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
So we know they're about that in length. And, we put our palm up on it and it was still
12.4 to be exact.
There you go.
I use the logger's ruler.
Oh, I got you. For making sure there's no little...
Make sure the cuts are equal.
I got you. So you have that OCD disorder like I do.
I do.
Now, was yours worse where it should be CDO, that way it's alphabetically correct? Or
no, it's not quite that.
Okay.
But hey, I want to thank you for bringing this over.
Yeah.
It was fun to play around with it. And I told AJ before, I don't think cameras were running and microphones, but sitting on the tractor, it didn't feel like I had the weight that I did back there. And I think part of that's because it's a tandem.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is just it's balanced out nicely with the weight of the boom up here in the front, and then you get the weight back here with the logs, and it just levels that trailer right out for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can cheat it with a 3-point hitch, drop it down or lift it up, but didn't have to do any of that.
I watched the other YouTube channels or I watch stuff on Facebook, and it's this size of tractor or a little bit smaller. Again, I wouldn't pull this one with an ATV, but again, that 20 horse to 30 horse tractor somewhere in that neighborhood is going to handle this trailer. So if you're on a bigger property, you're trying to skid stuff out, maybe you're taking this tractor with the grapple all the way up in the woods. Well, you're on a quad path that's maybe 5 or 6 feet wide, and you're trying to move a 12-foot log coming down lane, but with this, you're about 6 feet left to right, and just take it out lengthwise. Like I said earlier, everybody always asks what a price is. Well, it's now December, today's the 4th?
I think so.
2022, and we sold this trailer as a package for $24,000. Some people say that's ridiculous money, but, for a tractor or a mini excavator or a skid steer, this is a purpose-built piece. Our customer, Pete, is going to take this thing out in the woods and do just this. This is why he bought it. This is his forwarding machine. And it's how he's going to get his winter wood and his business wood. out of the forest. We do the agricultural, off-road trailers. This is a low-speed trailer. You're not going to haul this with the pickup truck going for miles down the road. It's just the bearings in these aren't really made for that. But then we get into like your skeleton bunk trailers. We do a small one like a 7x12, and then we start getting beefier. Probably the sweetest trailer that we have for the skeleton style like this is our CXRF, which means road and forestry. Trailer, and the 50 means you can put 5 tons worth of wood weight on it.
Wow.
And it weighs 4,000 pounds. It's a 14,000 pound GVW trailer, and that 4,000 pounds is loader and trailer, power pack, everything sitting there, actual curb weight.
This I could see uses for. I mean, as I go and do tree cutting for people and bring the trees back here, I mean, usually I'm moving the tractor there, using the grapple, putting stuff in the dump trailer. I mean, moving it around on someone's property, it would be a lot less damaging to run this trailer over the ground with the tractor versus my truck back.
Go and bring out a cord and a half of wood at a time or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's impressive. I'm impressed.
So
it outperformed what I expected. So
see, and that's a non-biased review. I'll pay you later. No,
okay,
I'm just kidding.
Right. Holding you to that.
Yeah, right.
Hey, thanks again, AJ. I'm going to wrap it up here for Woodruff Woods. I hope you enjoyed this little extra effort that I put into this video, and AJ coming out here and giving of his time and showing us this equipment. We do appreciate it.
Oh, it's no worries. And you can always give us a phone call on the splitter line. It's 833-SPLITTER. It's 833-775-4887. And then my email is always sales@shaverequipment.com. And we're always working hard to be lazy. So
I like that tagline.
It works.
And just so you know, I will put that down in the description. I'll link to AJ's channel somewhere up here, and you can check him out and give him a subscribe over there. So that's going to do it for Woodruff Woods, and we'll catch you on the next one.